Can financial citizenship begin at birth? I believe it can. My name is Bhagwan Chowdhry, professor of finance at UCLA Anderson School. And I will tell you that, yes, we can do it one birth, one baby at a time. It's called financial access at birth, FAB for short, and FAB believes that every human being deserves the dignity of financial citizenship. Consider the fact, 2.7 billion people in the world have no access to any formal financial services that you and I take for granted. A simple ability to save. Women in India, women in Africa are even willing to pay to save. They're willing to pay to keep the savings safe. That's an access challenge. More than 50% of the births go unregistered, especially those of the poorest and the most vulnerable members of the society, which means they are off the radars and maps of any social service agencies who might want to reach them, who might want to access them and provide them with some basic social services. That's an access challenge. In times of emergencies, in times of need, when we want to share with the poor people of the world, our methods are very inadequate. When there's a flood, when there's an earthquake, another disaster hits, we send supplies to local agents, to local intermediaries, and we tell them, hand it out free of cost. And we know what happens. Half the time, it doesn't really reach them. At other times, we try to reach it directly. Take a look at this. Do we have sound? This is an earthquake in Haiti. And we're dropping food and medicine, hoping that every needy person will get it. Some of them will, some of them won't. That's an access challenge. We believe that FAB can address this access challenge. We believe that FAB can reach the Millennium Development Goals in about a decade or two. And we are going to use it by using the power of technology and public-private partnerships. FAB connects three innovations, three ideas that have already worked in different parts of the world. One, $100 savings deposit for every child born in the world. Two, a unique universal ID for every citizen. And three, mobile and electronic branchless banking. Let's start with a mother, a soon-to-be mother. FAB will offer a $100 savings deposit as an incentive, and as an incentive to get her child recorded, to provide a unique ID for the child, and for the mother as well at the same time. And while she's doing this, we'll also open a basic transaction account for the mother and the family. So immediately we are onboarding not only the child, but also the family into the formal banking system, formal financial system which will have the advantage of client protection, which will have the advantage of building a financial history that would be useful to her later when she wants to access credit, when she wants to access insurance. And then we will connect it with mobile electronic technology. Mobile electronic technology is going to make it easy. It's going to make the cost extremely low to be able to save small amounts of money, which are sorely needed by the very poor. Fab started at a dinner conversation with Vijay Mahajan. Vijay Mahajan is a social entrepreneur in India who's very savvy about what's going to work and what's not. And when I mentioned this idea to him at dinner, he was excited. And he said, we need to share this idea with other people. So I did. I spammed my students. I wrote to my colleagues. My children taught me Twitter, Facebook. And the response I got was overwhelming. Then I presented it at conferences, at meetings, talked to many people, and 6 months later, several thought leaders, social entrepreneurs, leaders in finance, leaders in poverty alleviation became co-founders of this movement. We call it FAB, the FAB Initiative. We also got help. We got help from international media who helped us carry this message to many more minds and many more hearts, who asked us thoughtful questions, probing questions, which helped refine the model, which help us think through these things very carefully. Even Hollywood came to our help. Some of you may have seen Sophia and Vince in the latest Entourage series talking about FAB. Take a look at this short clip. Miss Leah. Hi.
Vincent Chase. Vincent, this is Professor Bhagwan Chowdhry from the UCLA Anderson School.
What are you doing? Hi.
Professor Chowdhry is an expert in finance, and I'm writing a piece on his Financial Access at Birth initiative.
Wow, I love that.
You've heard of FAB?
No, but I'm excited to read about it now.
Probably won't get the cover like you, convincing world leaders and private funders to open a $100 savings account for every child in the world isn't as sexy as a Hollywood star.
But far more interesting.
Well, thank you.
Well, anyway, I'll let you go to it. It's a pleasure to meet you.
And you.
Sophia?
Bye, Vince.
You probably have a lot of questions. Let me see if I can address at least a few of them here. You might be asking, is this really going to work? And I think it can, because it contains elements that are already successful and they're already working. We have evidence the poor do indeed save, but they're not able to save in safe ways. They're not able to save in effective ways. The solutions we have are not poverty smart. Some of you probably read this article in the New Yorker. This is Nandan Nilekani. They call him the ID man. I met him last year, and he invited several of my students, MBA students, to go and work with this massive project he's working in India to provide unique universal ID to every citizen, every 1 billion, all 1 billion people in the world. And how is he doing it? Fingerprints and iris scan. Together, it's costing less than $1 to create that ID. And now I have learned that even voice authentication technology has become possible. So even that is something that can be added on. Mobile technology in Kenya.
Now you can send Pesa fast and safe using Safaricom's new service, M-Pesa. It is the new reliable way to send and receive money using your mobile phone. Visit your nearest M-Pesa agent today Terms and conditions apply.
This is not theoretical. This is working with millions of people already. This takes care of the challenge of reaching the poor without losing, without leakage in the intermediate periods. In Afghanistan, they started to give them wages using mobile technology. And when people received the wages, they thought they got a raise, a 30% raise. Well, that's because the intermediary had not siphoned off 30% of their wages. So reaching the last mile has become more possible with this technology now. You might ask, have people tried this before? Yes. The UK had a savings bond. Singapore and Australia have had a baby bond. Iran has a future maintenance fund for children. Many of these things go on. But some of these have been cut due to austerity measures. Others don't employ the technology and the public-private partnership that are really central to FAB, that FAB is trying to integrate. You might ask, do we need the $100? Is $5 enough? Isn't $10 enough? Well, let's look at it this way. $100 has to be an incentive that's large enough so that the mother would want to register the child. Secondly, a $100 incentive has to be large enough so that banks would want to invest in the infrastructure. You might ask, at what age should the deposit be available? Certainly not immediately. We say 16, others say 14, some say 18. We are going to discuss this with the governments and the local social entrepreneurs to see what is the right age. This is an ingredient that we have to check as we go into the local conditions. Now, there's several benefits. Public health conditions might improve. Half the trouble is bringing the child in. But once you have the child in to get the $100 and to get the unique ID, you can give vaccines at birth. Early child nutrition might be possible. Social service agencies that are trying to deliver services to these people can do it directly. Family members, charitable organizations who want to transfer cash to people can now do it directly without worrying about the fact that some of this money may disappear. But I'm a finance professor. People say, where is the business case? Well, the business case is for the banks. Banks are usually not interested in serving the poor, but offer them a $100 deposit and offer them $1 million deposits. Now they're willing to invest. Now they're willing to invest in the infrastructure. Plus, the unique ID, the technology, will provide the know your customer requirements. They will also deal with fraud and other things that will be prevented with increased information security. That's what's going to make it attractive to banks. This is the old model of the bank. The old model of the bank is you go to the bank and a teller smiles at you and say, "Can I help you?" You lost $10 right there. The new model is the branchless banking model. Okay? The branchless banking model, you go to a grocery store. A woman who has just earned 100 rupees, that's $2, goes to a grocery store, she buys 60 rupees worth of goods, and then she puts a thumbprint and immediately deposits 40 rupees, right there and then. Make it cheap, make it easy, and that's why it's going to work. Where's the evidence? Well, technology is a big equalizer. The technology that is required is technology that needs big payments upfront, big fixed costs, but the variable costs are going to become smaller. How are they going to become smaller? With scale. Not one account, not two accounts, but thousands of accounts. So this is the pop, and that's the tech. Combined, it's going to work. is it theoretical? ECHO is an organization in India that's doing it right now. I visited them about a year ago. Some of you may have read Thomas Friedman's new book where he talks about ECHO. They are making deposits as low as 2 cents per deposit in villages, and the monthly maintenance cost of 10 cents. That's the scale. That's what the cost reduction that we can achieve with what FAB is trying to promote. Who's helping us? The Center for Financial Inclusion at Action International in Washington, D.C. has decided to host FAB as we prepare for a pilot. UCLA Anderson's Center for International Business Education and Research has sponsored it. They've helped us hire Rosita Najmi. Some of you have met her, who is an alum of Harvard Business School, World Bank, and several INGOs, who is providing the practical feet to this academic idea. And many of our students from UCLA Anderson School, students from Harvard Kennedy School, Dartmouth, employees of Credit Suisse, and many other people have given us pro bono help to make FAB become a reality. So, where are we going with this? Our immediate goal is fundraising, fundraising, fundraising. We need to raise about $5 million to launch our first FAB pilot. President Grimson? We are talking to country in West Africa and country in South Pacific, and we have secured agreement at the very highest level in one country, and we look forward to our first pilot. In the medium terms, we will be listening. We have spoken to people at the World Bank, CGAP, IFC, UNICEF, UNDP, Innovations for Poverty Actions, IPA. And we are learning, and we continue to host conversations and consultations with many organizations. In the long term, we are going to see many more pilots. The world is indeed rebalancing. It's time to act now. It's time to act together. It's time to act differently. And I think FAB is a possibility that can indeed happen. We are going to need a lot of help. We are going to need help from people like you. We need volunteers. We are going to need funds. And we are going to need ideas. 3 things. Access challenge. Provide the ability to save, to provide the ability to build assets to the poor. Number 2, provide an ability for social service agencies to reach the poor. Number 3, provide the ability for us to be able to share risks and pain of people in time of need. I think all of these things are possible if we indeed work together. We are all going to need your help. Remember, 3 billion people in the world live in poverty. And we need to give them help to take a few steps to walk out of this poverty, and we need everybody's help. Thank you very much.